Thank you very much for kind introduction. Hello, my name is Arisa Emma from the University of Tokyo, the Tokyo College. So I'm really honored to be taking part of this symposium, and it is really nice to have this AI forum, AI Synergy, Science and Society. So my presentation would be a bit different from what's been discussed so far. And so I think, but many of you might be really interested in like the relationship between the science and the society. So in this presentation, I would like to make some kind of discussion from my social scientist background, and would like to discuss how we can develop or deploy and use the artificial intelligence. So in a way, I would like to kind of go back to what's being discussed related to this responsible AI discussion. So sorry, this is a bit kind of intense document, the PowerPoint slide. But when we go back to like in 2016, some of you may remember that in the 2016, the G7 was actually held here in Japan. So not in the 2023, but we had one in the 2016. And there, in the G7 Kagawa Takamatsu ICT Ministry meeting, the Japanese government proposed the R&D, AI R&D principle guidelines. And that was actually the point that we globally started to discuss how we tackle with this, not only the opportunity of the artificial intelligence that brings, but also the risks that we need to tackle on. And actually, even today, we will also have some kind of concerns about how we can deal with the various types of risk that we actually have to deal with. So after that, in 2016, the global discussion kind of developed in various ways. So as here, you can see like the Future of Life Institute had this Asiloma AI principles, or like OECD kind of established this OECD principles on artificial intelligence, or maybe the G20 also kind of created this, the principles towards artificial intelligence. And here, the UNESCO or the kind of created this ethics recommendation for AI. And I think here in the Microsoft and also the academics in the University of Tokyo, people will be aware of that the European Union actually made this AI Act. And we were actually thinking about what would be the high risk of artificial intelligence and how to control those risks and make the benefit at most. And also, some of you may have heard about that the Council of Europe is actually creating the first ever AI convention to become concluded in the next May in 2024. So if Japan or the other country were to sign or to join this convention, it is a framework convention. So we also have to consider about how to, for example, do the risk assess management, or how to kind of make the oversight mechanism that those kind of risk assessment is actually working well. And also, many of you actually have heard about the news actually discussing about the G7 Hiroshima summit, or also the UK organized the AI safety summit. And all those things is actually happening. And I think we are really aware of that the AI developer should have the first to think about to control the AI risks. So here you can see that the many company or the industry are actually creating these AI principles. So back in the 2018, Sony, and also this is actually, I'm writing the Japanese company as well, but of course Microsoft is kind of taking a leadership into promoting this responsible AI discussion. And here in Japan, so not only like the big tech company, but also the startup company, and not only the tech company, but also like the developing, so not only the AI developing company, but also the deploying the AI or the user AI company is also creating this AI policy or the principle or commission, whatever the name is. So here in this presentation, I would like to raise that the principle is important, but also we need to look into how to make that into practice. So the interaction between principle and practice is really important. And in one way, when we discuss about the principle, there's a lots of items that we need to look into. For example, like a fairness issue, accountability issue, transparency, trust, explainability. So there's a lot of principle or items that we need to look into when we develop or we use the artificial intelligence. But not only that, so what item, but also we need to look into how that principle is actually created. So for example, here in this slide, I put the European flag and the Japanese flag there. So I just wanted to show some example that how this issue is really important. So in 2019, the Japanese government actually created the principle, the national kind of policy considering about the social policy about the AI. Who created this principle? So who is in this committee? And you can see that mostly the committee is organized by male and only 4 or 5 women. However, in similar timing, the European Commission also released some documents called the Trustworthy AI. And you can see that here, the committee member was consisted of like almost half male and half women. So those kind of, the balance is really important. So if the content or is similar, then what we actually value is that who actually created. And with that, I think that Japan still has lots to do with it. Like, you know, the artificial intelligence is still kind of male world. And however, when we discuss about the fairness or the diversity or like the equity of the artificial intelligence, we need more diverse people to be involved in this kind of discussion, not only for the tech side, but also for like ethical, social, or like the economic discussion about artificial intelligence. And also for the who perspective or the where perspective, I think right now AI is becoming implemented into more the domain area. So we need to discuss about AI in medicine, AI in finance, AI in the transportation. And even if we are discussing about the same technology, for example, like a facial recognition or like the ChatGPT or like the generative AI, we need to look into the context. So like a facial recognition system used in the airport to, for example, like detect the suspicious person, or maybe if you use a facial recognition for like the entrance into this Yasuda auditorium, the aim is a bit different, and how that kind of the violation of privacy level is totally different. So we need to look into the context, how it is being used, and with that, we need a proper level of discussion about the AI governance. Without that, we cannot, solely say that this technology is a high risk. So we need to make, prohibit the usage. But we need, so not in the way, but we need to look into the context and to discuss it. And also, back in 2016 or 17, we started to discuss about the principle, and then we actually discussed about the practice. However, when we look at how the Hiroshima AI process brought up by their documents, we see that the guidelines for policy and also the code of conduct came out together. So with this fast developing technology in the AI, we need to both look at the principles and practice at the same time, and we need to be very agile, so to kind of update our technology and also our social discussion together. So in this presentation, I would like to raise some of the points that what we should look into when we discuss about the artificial intelligence and its social risks. So one point is that how we define the risks of AI. So we can divide the risk into, for example, twofold. So one is the risk posed by artificial intelligence. So there is a kind of risk that arises from the AI. For example, like a machine learning that has a specific feature. For example, the AI becoming very the complex, and we cannot tell what's going on. So it's becoming like a so-called black box issue. So we need to some kind of transparency, or we need to have some kind of technical or maybe sociological kind of aid to reduce or to mitigate the risk of that kind of unexplainable way. And also, we still have the discussion to be deal with the risk common to the information technology, or maybe broadened by the machine learning technology. For example, the privacy issue, security issue, data bias, or misuse. Especially when we use the generative AI, there's a discussion of like how this hallucination issue, or maybe a risk of infringing a copyright or the intellectual property thing. So those kind of things that actually emerges between like a society and also the tech part is really becoming very, very important and becoming very common issues. We actually hear those of the incident or the accident every day from the news or maybe in the social media. On the other side, so maybe you might think I am from like more the risk or the pessimistic way to telling about the artificial intelligence and the society. However, I also would like to raise that there would be certainly the obstacle that actually prohibits to AI to be spread in the society. So we can definitely say that the current system is somehow not kind of applicable to the artificial intelligence that to be widely used here in Japan or maybe here in the world. So it's not kind of to the point that actually we can use the AI in a way. So in that sense, we not only to design the technology to suit the current technology, but on the other side, we need more people to be involved from like the policy side or the legal side so that they can reinterpret or redesign how our actual society consists of. And in that sense, we can live in more, not having too much legal constraints or too much regulatory framework, but more in a simple and agile manner to deal with the AI risk. And also, the other point, the second point I would like to raise is the interoperability. So this term was actually mentioned in the G7 Hiroshima summit. And some of us actually get some kind of question in our head, what does interoperability mean? So technically, the interoperability means like the standardization. So for example, like there's various discussions going on, like ASO, the IEEE, or the NIST, or the CENRIC. So there's lots of discussion on how to make AI standardization. However, in this G7 Hiroshima summit context, it is used in like the interoperability between frameworks. So here, what is important is that each country or the region have their own context of regulating the technology. And for example, Japan actually wanted to go with the non-binding regulatory framework. However, European actually creating this AI Act, it's more like a binding framework. And so even though we have the different kind of system, but we need to be, to be collaborative because technology goes beyond the country or the region. So in that sense, it is kind of like similar to say that we need the transparency of our regulatory system framework. So in that sense, we can actually pay respect to each country's regulatory frameworks, and then maybe we can kind of those systems can coexist. Ideally, but we are still kind of figuring out how we can go with the very totally different system existing altogether. So this is actually one of the kind of categorization we made by my colleague, I made with my colleagues. So there's, we can simply say that the non-binding regulation or the binding regulation or the soft law or the hard law, but it's not only the government actually creates this kind of regulatory framework. We can know that, we know that the industry may actually create the guidelines, or maybe that some of the association will actually create this kind of, the kind of standardization. Or we can say that the civil society, or, like the reputation risk, or maybe like the investors' action, for example, like a ESG investment, also kind of plays a very can work as an enforceable way to discipline all the company, or maybe how the people behave. So I think it is really important to use all this kind of tools, or the so-called discipline to kind of control the ways that the entity or the industry to behave in a good manner. And I am saying this because not all technology is created by one entity or one organization. So maybe I'll just skip this one and just go to this slide. So we can say that many of the the AI products, we can simply kind of, it's modelized here in a way. So AI developer, AI producer, the AI provider, and the AI users. So for example, like a Microsoft is kind of like in the upper one. So they actually develop the AI system, the AI models, and they actually provide the AI system or the AI services. So as an AI user, I can tell, so if something happens, I can say that I can ask the Microsoft person, how does this system work, or it does not work. However, here in Japan, most of the supply chain is really long. So we cannot tell, even if I'm using this AI system or the services, the actual AI models used in the service or the system is not kind of the established or the developed by that company. So there's a long supply chain. And with that, maybe it might happen that the AI models created by the country A, deployed by country B, and they use in the country C. So with that, each ABC country has different, if that has a different regulation, it's becoming the issue is very complicated. So in a sense, it is really important to have interoperability of the framework of the risk assessment or the risk regulatory framework, but also we need some kind of non-enforceable, like more public kind of oversight mechanism, like using the reputation risk, or maybe the common, the values, or the people's awareness, or maybe people's concerns can be directly sent to the developers and maybe shared by among the users. So the third discussion point, and this is the kind of the last message I wanted to share with you, is that maybe it is really important to consider who is responsible and what kind of role we should take when we discuss about the responsible AI. So it's not only the developers that to be responsible. So there will be the AI developer, AI provider, and with that, those people may have like the contract, and they actually kind of be transparent in a way. For example, like what kind of data they used or what kind of policy they have. So that would be really important. However, there would be some sort of role that like the society as a whole to monitor what's being actually discussed in the company, and also if something goes wrong, there would be some kind of societal, like a safeguards, or like some of the compensation system, or that rescue the public or the users to support how they actually when they face these issues. And in that sense, I think each of the actors' role should be more kind of discussed within this responsible AI discussion. So we need some kind of multi-stakeholder discussion to involve as many people as it to have this kind of way to consider about AI. And also, I just wanted to say one thing about the generative AI. So, because most of the discussion in this forum is about like LLM and also the generative artificial intelligence. So there's a lot of possibility and the concerns we have to discuss. So, and there's also, you know, both sides of the way that the generative AI becomes our work or our lifestyles in a more effective way, but it can be used in a good manner or the bad manner, or it would be, you know, make the better quality, or maybe become more creative, and it can become more supportive to our society. But on the other side, if we use that kind of technology in a wrong way or in a different manner, it can easily goes into the conscious or the risk side. So I think it is our own like users' literacy that should be nurtured when we use about the generative AI. So it's not only for the developers, but also for the user side. So this is my last slide. So here in like a science technology policy discussion, we have the kind of concept called like a calling glitch dilemma. So it is said that it is difficult to predict the impact of technology before it's used in society. However, when the technology has become widespread, it is difficult to control. This is, you know, not only to be said into the artificial intelligence, but you know, here I can see some of the possibility of discussing AI. So AI is kind of came out to the world, even it is kind of, you know, in the beta version. So and also we need to discuss AI in a very agile manner. So it can be said that we might be living in this experimental society rather than, you know, there we're having like a social experiment. So with that, you know, so those of the experiment or the artificial intelligence that actually kind of creates the values of what we actually aims, and we can directly kind of express our feedback, and then there will be another feedback that will be, you know, to making this a very good loop. So I see that we can maybe overcome this calling glitch dilemma by discuss the artificial intelligence and in a responsible manner. So thank you very much. That's all for my presentation.